well. I do apologize for being late today, guys, but thank you so much for your patience. It's such an honor to be here. It always is. It's been, I think, 2 weeks since you've seen me, but today we have something pretty... Oh, and I have the stream open as well. Let me just close that. Just making sure that I am indeed live. Really cool to be here, but thank you so much. Eccentric Horse, I'm pretty sure that you jinxed it. Right in the beginning, I was absolutely sure something was gonna go wrong and you jinxed it. But you know what? Here we are. Here we are together. But thank you so much for being early as well, earlier than me. Cappy, Calvin, ASK, Eccentric, and Jaffa. Yeah, it's so good to see you guys. Alright, so today we're going to be discussing minor piece endings. And let's just say I am a little bit nervous because I had to do some studying of my own. A few of these lessons I have given before, both privately and making videos. But today we will be discussing some minor piece endgames, which I have adopted from Mark Darevsky, also some clips I've seen, and so on. And then a game that I've chosen, which I think we should start with as well, between Mikhail Botvinnik and Karl Robach. I'm probably mispronouncing his surname. This game was played in 1962. And yeah, we have an English opening, but what we're going to do is just skim through the game and then stop right at the end where it's going to be a knight v bishop. But the player with the knight has an extra pawn, and usually the bishop just has to kind of sacrifice itself. But we'll see why he resigns in the position. Good evening. Good evening. Good to see you. Yeah, screws. It's Planty. Planty's actually feeding me all the information today. Since it's such a crazy topic, we're gonna have to, take in as much help as we can. Also, I have chosen to show you the double bishop checkmate, as well as RIP if I fail at my mission, to show you the bishop and knight checkmate. The blue backlights. I know! It feels so gamery. Yeah. Very confused as what to watch. Oh, so you can pull up both of them. You can have your minor piece endgame lesson as well as your Carlsen versus Caruana match. I know they're playing at the moment. I don't know what time they began, but I did see the beginning of the round clip. I think Duda is playing against Orientari. Magnus is playing against Fabiano, and he did the whole namaste as well. I can't remember who was sitting on the last board as well. I saw the love me a bishop pair. Exactly. I know. I love bishop pairs too. But sitting with two bishops at the end of the game, when you have no other pieces on the board, the pressure's kind of on. You're meant to be winning. It's plus 70 on the engine, yet somehow you can't find the way out. So today, Alireza and Levon. I posted something on Twitter earlier, and Chess24 actually posted it on their Instagram. It was really funny. I want to show you. I don't know if I can show you. Maybe I can just read it off Twitter. Because I wanted to see the rankings, the world rankings. They have a 2700chess.co.com or something. And my caption was, because Firoja Alireza is 17th in the world rankings and he's climbing 5 already. And I didn't want to jinx it, but nonetheless I said, Firoja making his way through the ranks like, sorry, excuse me, pardon me, sorry, thanks. Hey, Magnus. So I thought that was a little bit of a funny right there. Yeah, but let's get started. Like I said, this game is between Mikhail Botvinnik and Karl Robach. We're only going to do one game today, and the rest will be endgame positions that we will work through. So it'll be very interesting. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Promote Twitter on stream. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. Alright, continuing. So let's begin with the game. We're just going to go through it really quickly. We have an English opening. Alright. So just normal styles here. I would assume that white adopted a Botvinnik type setup and black just went ahead with an early f5 and got that knight to h5 as well, attacking the queen, but white is putting a lot of pressure here. King h2, quite nice. Bishop f3, putting pressure on the knight. Do we take the knight or the bishop? We take the bishop. Knight f6, knight c3, going back. Okay, we see some trades happening, and we trade off into a fairly equalish endgame, right? This is equal. But I love watching games where it's a dead draw, and you just see players fight from a dead drawn position for a victory. I like this move here. Queen f3, protects h3, avoids bishop h6. Rook g2, taking control of the open file, trading pieces. Once again, probably going for the trades here. Ooh, just exchanging pawns like it's no man's business. And it's hard to think that in this position, black has the bishop, yet white wins this game. Spoiler alert, right? Then we have knight e6, knight back. Probably should have just traded here. A4, okay. Knight. So a few mistakes here. And there we go. I think this was a mistake. Or maybe it's just still equal, right? I think in this position you meant to play bishop a5. Is this the move? Bishop a5, just stopping the pawn. Because now you can toggle kind of between the e1 square, d2, c3, b4. And the knight really can't stop that, and you just get your king involved and so on. And as soon as white decides to push the pawn, you just capture it with the bishop and it's a draw. No problemo. Okay, anyway, we go back to this position. We have king g4, and then after knight b7, which stops bishop a5, then we have king f5 and taking the pawn on d5. Opposition, shouldering the king. That king is going nowhere near the white pawn. But after this exchange, it still looks like black has a chance to draw, because all black has to do is maybe even put the bishop on a different diagonal, covering one of the squares the pawn's going to move to, and then capture it. But somehow it's winning for white. So black makes a move. Bishop to b6. Still wanting to cover a5 and a7. But how does white continue here? And that's my question to you guys. How does white continue? Capablanca? Yeah, I agree with you, Apple. Yeah, we're hoping that Alireza will make it to World Championship at some point, but I think he first has to crack the top 10, get into the candidates, win the candidates, and there we go. For the bishop and knight checkmate, are you going to do the W method or the 3-triangle method? I think W seems simpler, the simplest way to go, right? King c6, okay. Knight c5. Hi, Tyrone. It's okay. I was also late. Don't worry about it. Okay. So after king c6, so say white plays king c6, bishop goes to a7, trying to stop the pawn. What would white play after that? So at the moment we have a suggestion, let's use green. We have a suggestion of king c6, bishop a7. What happens after that? Knight d6, knight b5. Knight b5 is interesting. Knight b5. But remember, you don't want to cover the square, you want to block out the bishop. So knight d6 is perfectly fine because the king will just go to e6, but then the next move is just as important, right? Amadeus, what's up? a5, but then you end up with just a knight. Yeah, you can't checkmate with just a knight, but we will take a look at cases where there's a pawn on the board, or 2 pawns on the board, and somehow still winning with just a lone knight. But it's interesting. We'll get there. I have made videos, and the videos are on YouTube, so if you haven't seen the videos, then this is the lecture for you. Want to get your knight to b6, king on b7. Exactly. That's exactly what you want to do. Well, knight on b6 is definitely accurate. Maybe it's not completely necessary to get the king on b7, but at the moment that's the goal. And there's a way to do that by gaining a tempo as well. King c6, bishop a7, knight d6, king e6, knight b5. See, knight b5 is where we might be going wrong here. Knight b5, and the bishop can just drop back, right? The bishop can drop back to g1 or f2, depending on how he feels on the day. Hey Torlek, how you doing? Glamdring, what's up? I can tell it was posted on Discord. Oh man. Being nervous? What a way to promote the stream, Cappy. Goodness me. Can Fabi win today? I haven't actually looked at the games. I haven't looked at the games of today. All I've been looking at are mostly the results, like Dida beating Carlson and the interview that Fiona did. I'm really loving the interviews. I feel like they're very engaging. I also saw the interview with Arian Tari. He was speaking to Fiona as well, and I don't think I've seen the Alireza one. I know they were baking cakes or decorating cakes at some point, and Aronian won the cake decorating competition. That was funny. Oh man. Yes, but don't highlight that, Cappy. Goodness me. It's a hashtag party. Yeah. Because we're hipsters out here. Aronian is the best. I know Glamdring has a huge crush on Aronian. Nice, screws. Nice. Okay, so exactly. We're going to go over the solution right now. So we have king to c6, bishop to a7, knight to d6. Everyone got it right so far. Everyone got it right. We then have king e6. And now the next move is so important. So instead of bringing the knight to b5, which does seem pretty logical, all we're doing here is covering the square. We're not blocking the bishop off, because what we want to do is block the bishop out completely. And the move that was made here is in fact knight to c8. And now with knight c8, we can easily get the knight to b6, block the bishop out, and promote the pawn. That is what we want to do. So after this move, knight c8, Black Carl decided to just resign the game, because after, say for instance, we make the move bishop e3, we can just play something like knight b6. Not knight b6, wait. We can push the pawn, right? And the reason we don't play knight b6 is because of this move over here, bishop d2, which I missed. Okay, so that's why in this position we gotta play a5 first, and then if bishop d2, a6, bishop e3, just knight b6, covering the a7 square. So it's not about protecting the square, but blocking it off completely, because at any point Black can just sacrifice their bishop, and it will be a draw, because there's no way you can checkmate with a lone knight. Quite beautiful, right? Vila, are you pointing and laughing at me? How was the Among Us today, Vila? How was the Among Us? Probably. You know what? It's okay. I've really come to terms with your antics. There's no winning. There's no winning. See what you did. See what you did, Cappy. Hey, Pipette. Good to see you. And relaxed chat. Am I the nervous Jess? Okay, I should never admit my feelings ever. 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 Yeah. Are you bullying me in chat, Vila? Careful. I'm pretty sure there are a number of channels you abandon. Don't let this be the 50th one. Knight c8. Knight c8? Why would you bring the knight back to c8? You want to draw. Okay. I take it you're a big fan of Anish Giri. Yeah, I think Pipette has a camera in all our viewers' rooms. JK. Okay. So that was an amazing game. Like I said, it was between Botvinnik and Robach. If you ever see something like this again, you can be like, hey, that was the Botvinnik-Robach game of 1962. And you'll seem so smart. These lectures have definitely helped me identify games where I'm like, oh, I know this idea, or I've seen this game. The time I gave a lecture on a Monday, I was speaking about game of the century between Bobby Fischer. Okay, Bobby Fischer was playing black pieces and he sacrificed his queen and so on. And then the chess talks that Sunday, that game was brought up. And I was like, hey, I know that game. And so and so and so. And I was able to say some stuff about it. And I felt pretty impressed. I don't think anyone was impressed because they're like, you're a chess player, you should know these things. But I was impressed with myself because I don't know the classics as well as I should. But what I really like is preparing for these lessons and learning with you guys rather than just regurgitating things I already know. So often I'm learning as you do. What did Screw say? Oh my word. Hey Neil Bruce. I'm doing really well, how are you? Alrighty. I'll burn Geary. Luckily Geary never watches these, so we're good to go. Being impressed with yourself is always the first step to greatness. Yeah. Eccentric courses on YouTube and on Twitch. Eccentric, you were here from the beginning, jinxing the fact that I wasn't going to go live. But you know what? We're live, and we're well, and we're healthy. I'm trying to be stealthy with this thing. It's my earphones, but they're not behaving. I seem like a bodyguard. Okay, moving on, guys. Moving forward. We had this position in front of us. Alrighty. So we're going to take a look at it from White's point of view, because White is the one who wants to win. But we're going to give the turn to both White and Black. It's much easier if it were White to move and win. I think this position is programmed to have White move first, right? I don't know how to switch, but we can look at it with some arrows because we love our arrows. And I know I can't remember who it was recording me doing arrows the entire time because we love colorful arrows. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop. You're going to tell me what White can do, who's winning, is it going to be a draw, what's spotting. So go ahead, tell me what you think. More arrows. Orange beanbag left the building. I repeat, he has left the building. Got it. Easily winnable. I like it, Glamdring. Stealthy is healthy. Can you give us a quick history of your chess career at some point? Would be interesting. A brief history of 14 years of my life squished into one paragraph. Let's go. Started playing chess at 8 years old. My mom taught me how to play. I started playing tournaments, and the first couple tournaments were quite a disaster. I used to cry after every single loss, and I think that is when I started actually losing the ability to use my tear ducts. No. One of the main motivations were um, usually kids crowding around a board and kind of laughing at you if you were losing a game, especially being a girl in a male dominating sport. The hall is filled with little boys, and you're this little girl just chilling, and maybe it's like five of you, at least you're all friends or whatever, five girls, but it's not enough to motivate you to kind of continue playing chess. So instead of letting that drive me away from the game, it motivated me to play more and try to get better. Soon enough, I made it as a top junior in my region, both in gender and in my age group. And then regionals. In 2015, I became top in my region altogether. Male, female, all ages. So that was quite something. And I think the top rated player in the closed, the invitational, was like 2100. So that was really, really cool. Got my national colors when I was 17. It was also the first time I traveled abroad. Since then, I've visited 16 countries, been in the Olympiad team 3 times, and since started my chess academy, I coach. I do lectures, streaming since January, and I think that wraps it up. I'm obviously leaving out a lot, but what can I say? How old was I when I got my title? I was 19 when I became WIM. I was 17. Yeah, 2 years prior I became WFM. So I was 17 when I got WFM. I was WFM before I was WIM. Vela, stop laughing at me. Luya point. Oh my goodness. I mean, Luya's pretty great. Thanks, Sarah. Quick history of the position. White's got cavalry and black's on you got pawns. The black king right to the... Oh, wow. Wow. Why did I read that out loud? Knight of 6. Stopping the g-pawn. Seems like a start, maybe then g5, knight e4, going beyond my visualization skills. Visualization is very important. He did say brief. Thanks, Screws. Tyrone. Are you from South Africa? I mean, that's a whole different path of stories, right? Why do you stream other than CoChess? I think I only stream on CoChess, right? No, I've appeared on Chess24, chess.com, #chess. So, cool. Didn't even mention Planty. Planty was born in April. That's all I can say. Do I pay more attention to the Twitch chat than the YouTube chat? No. I read both. Not all the comments in the YouTube chat is kosher, you know? The gun on fire. Ha ha. Yeah, I know, Glamdring. I never learn. Is there singing on this channel? I don't think so. Unless, of course, CoChess organizes a staff Twitch sings. Any regrets through my history? No. I think if I would change anything in the past, I wouldn't be where I am right now, and I like where I am, and I like everyone here as well. Okay, back to the position. I really like the idea that you gave me. Sorry about your visualization skills, Glamdring, but we have knight f6, right? Knight f6 is quite logical. You want to go ahead and approach the king, and after a move like g5, we have knight g4, king. What happens after that? King h1. What happens? How are you, Sarah? You doing well, Sarah? A Q&A. Jeez, you're on my back the entire evening, eccentric. I need to know your first name, your last name, and your IP address. I'm kidding. Different strat, that black was moving pawns up and not down. Sorry, Sarah. Yeah, so the pawns are going the other way. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to decipher what happens after king h1. What happens? It's all in their username. Thanks, Screws. Oh my goodness. But I suppose you want actual... Of course I want... What else are we doing here? After king h1? At 2800 soon. Nice games in the dojo. So you're training on a game. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm training my end games. If anything, I was actually doing some opening preparation. I was trying to do some opening preparation. I had faced a London system and I completely forgot to play my prep because it was blitz and my brain did a spaz, I think. But to be honest, I don't know where it came from. I had 6 really good games and the rest were just... you know? You don't like this position? That's the thing about endgames. If you work on your endgames, it has a ripple effect on your whole entire game. So endgames are both the most beneficial and the most boring to work on. But the thing is, once you get through them and once you revise them, I mean, revision is so important, especially for someone like me who has astonishing memory. Astonishing? Appalling? Appalling is a better word. Appalling memory. So I often have to look at things a bunch of times. And we have the 2 bishops ending. We have the knight and bishop ending. So more than memory, I think it's better to understand an endgame. Yeah. This, depending on expectations. I don't want to give you high expectations when I say astonishing, so I'd rather say appalling. Being a negative word, right? King f6, knight f6, g5, knight g4. 5. First name Mag. No, I can understand. If you're Magnus Carlsen, then I can understand why you're being so mean. Such a mean fellow, right? Don't play with your food, Lamdrain. How kind of you to assume my games get to an endgame. Like I said, the endgame is not just about the endgame. Studying your endgames is not only going to improve your endgame, but your entire game as a whole. So, king h1, king f1, h2, knight f2. Yes, exactly. So then we have, let's use yellow here. We have king f1. King cannot go back because, of course, the knight is on g4. Then we have h2 and knight f2 checkmate. So let's actually play those moves here. Let's use the hand tool. Okay, then we have g5, knight g4, check, king f1. This is the only move and mate. But now my question, and we're only going to be able to use arrows now, but what happens if it's black to move? So say for instance, black makes this move, right? The pawn is now at g5. What happens now? What happens? What happens? Thanks, Achnoid. Really appreciate it. Oh! Wow! Wow, how kind of you to care about the audience, to know, or to try and find out whether I know what I'm speaking about and to correct me along my way so that the viewers don't get misguided. Very, very nice of you. Look at that, guys. Carlsen rarely cares about you. He's definitely not busy playing his game against Caruana right now. It's about the journey, not the destination. Deep. Getting tips after breaking his winning streak. Sarah knows a lot. Sarah knows a lot of stuff. That is some shade right there. Always blended my way into an endgame. It's time to change that, Cappy. Time to change that. Yeah, have a bad memory, otherwise you remember me. I apologize. Deeply. Yes, always study your endgames first if possible. If you really don't want to work on your endgames, tactics are the way to go. But I think basic opening principles are important, but if you were to go deep into opening theory, there's really no point. Because beyond the opening, if you end up with a great position in the opening, you're just going to blunder your way through the middle and endgame if you really don't have any deep understanding of what you're playing. Now game is over. Great. Can confirm Eccentric and is Magnus were sitting next to each other. The trolls are real, guys. Trolls are real. Am I coming to SAJCC? So the thing is, they want to organize a junior event for January that's going to have 2,000 people standing within very close proximity to one another, and you do not expect everyone to get sick. I don't know. Unless we just chug down a whole bottle of sanitizer upon arrival, then I don't know what to do. Nope. Yeah, I think Fubby and Eccentric, your stories need to line up. Okay, so we have g5 on the board. So let's say, for instance, we play something like knight f6, and then the king goes to h1. What happens next? Because the problem is, if we play this move, and black plays h2, we might have a draw on our hands, because king f1 and we have some problems maybe. So what happens? So the move we've played is this. Let me see if I can actually play the move. No. What does it say? Replace mode. Oh. Maybe there's a feature? Settings? That's not it. Anyway. Okay, we'll use arrows, no problem. Hey, Polka. Must host. Oof! Oof! The big oof. Safety first. It's important to interact. I mean, imagine just sitting in front of your student, OTB, you're giving a lesson, and you're just ranting on. And then they zone out. It's about engaging, interaction, making sure we're all on the same page. It's fine to get sidetracked sometimes. Not all the time. Chess 24 has features. Many features, yes. Don't break it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. All right, so now we have... Okay, so we have knight f6, king h1, then what? Knight g4, but then h2. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to play, okay, we'll play these moves. This, knight f6, king h1, knight e4, king h2, or g4. It's up to you. King f1 first, then knight g4. King f1. Okay, so g5, knight f6, king h1, king f1. But then just king h2, which goes back, and maybe you want to provoke this move. Okay, so maybe this is fine actually. So we play knight f6, king h1. Okay, g5 is played. Then we play here, h2. And now this pawn can move. You're allowing the pawn to move. So then we play knight e3, g4, knight f1, g3, and mate. And mate. There's many pieces on the board. There's not even, there's like literally 5 pieces on the board. Come on. You won't be crying. What? Oh, right. Literally 4. Literally. There's literally 5 pieces on the board. Okay, what I'm going to try and do then is edit the position. Let's edit. Edit, settings, play this position. Oh, it's giving me avatars. No, I don't want why does my avatar look like Magnus? My analysis, new session, import, paste, setup. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're gonna make it black to move. Oh, alrighty. So we have g5, knight f6, king h1, knight g4, h2, knight e3, pawn is forced to move, knight f1, g3, and takes. That's what we have. That's what we want as well. So things are looking good. Alright, next one. We're not getting through a lot. It's not a lot. Alrighty. So triangulation exists. Triangulation is an endgame concept mostly, where you kind of triangulate your king to a point where you arrive at the same position, only giving the move to your opponent, and that way you can win, because sometimes it's all about timing, right? So I was gonna say Zurswang, which means whoever... Zurswang. What is the definition? The pure definition of Zurswang. Whoever it is to move loses, right? German words. There we go. The word comes from German Zug, move, swang, compulsion. So that Zugswang means being forced to make a move. Originally, the term was used interchangeably with the term obligation to make a move as a general game rule, right? We knew that. We were just testing Google. Zug. Zug is move, right? Here white is completely lost because the king and the h-pawn are not maintaining social distancing. Sure. Move to lose. Interesting. You know what, I'm going to open this and I'm going to regret it. Oh, I'm not going to regret it. I thought I was going to regret it. It's literally just the definition of Zugswang. When a player is forced to make a move that worsens his position. The second one. Thanks. There's also Zweichenzug and Zenot. Zenot? German word for time trouble. It's also common in English jargon. That one I can relate to, unfortunately. So in this position, we're going to be making a move for white to move, and the question is, I have a very important question for you. Is it winning for white Or is it a draw? Black obviously can't win. I know you're being sarcastic, Sarah. Wait, Sarah can speak German? Are you a spy? Are you part of the mafia? Sorry. Don't mean to offend anyone. It's like life. What's like life? Was that a sneeze? I did not sneeze, Hep, I promise. You're like fluent in like German, like Zweichen so, like so swang. My goodness. It's a draw. Nice ach nooit. If it was white to move, it's winning, of course. Oh no, it's black to move. My apologies. My apologies. Black to move. Black. Yeah, sorry. My brain was doing a thing. So I'm gonna give both obviously the move. So if we play white, we play King G7. That is quite obvious. If we play black, what is the move that black should make? I think it's a draw with black to move. Sure. Pipette needs to stop doing this. Oh. Okay. King F7. So King F7. Why can't we give the move to black? Set up position. Okay. King F7. Then the move is like this. Knight B6. King F1. Knight D7. King F7. Knight E5. Right? But if we go back, there's also Knight C7, King F8, Knight D5. See, kings can triangulate, but knights cannot triangulate, unfortunately, no matter how hard we try. So then we have King F7, Knight F6, and even if we're playing after something like this, the king will just continue moving between these two squares, and there's no way. But if black decides to play this move, it is now completely winning for white, because King C7, Knight C7, King F7, and Knight E6, and there's no way the king can go to F8. It has to capture on E6, and this is winning. I'm actually right for once. Yeah. Did I get confused? No. My brain just works at a different pace. Yeah, so the whole point is black does not want to allow white's king to escape. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alright, so that was a nice one. Next one. Now the question is, it's black to move here. It's not black to move. Because if it was black to move, then... No, regardless. Regardless. Let's just see. Yeah, okay. Black to move, and black decides to play here. Is it a win for black? Or is it a draw? Is it a win for black, or is it a draw? Makes sense, but bad. I mean, sir, that's still very impressive. Autobahn. Das ist ein Autobahn. Das ist eine Straße. Das ist eine Straße. Das ist eine große Straße. That's what happens when you listen to draft time German Exactly. I think white will just toggle between g2, h1, and no matter how hard he tries here, there's no way the king will be able to advance, because the moment he comes forward, it's a draw. This is the only escape square for white, and there's no way to protect the pawn and maneuver the knight to queen the pawn. So unfortunately, it is a draw. What? That is a straat. Yeah, this is a street. It's much easier to say it in Afrikaans. Screws feels. My goodness. Okay, moving on. We have now approached this position, and I promise you this time I know who it is to move. It's white to move. It's white to move. White has a lone knight. Black has a king. I mean, my main question is, if white loses on time in this position, does black win? But also, white to move, given enough time, what would white play? But screws, there's proof that that white can win this. Knight f4. But then it's a draw. But believe it or not, white wants to win. White wants to win this. So German and plus Afrikaans equals Dutch. That is some quick maths right there. Knight f4. Yeah, it was just a typo. Glamdring, be nice. Goodness. Goodness. King f2. King f2, then king h1. Then what? If we play knight g3, then king h2, knight f1, and we're kind of stuck at that point. Because even if we play knight g3, knight f1, knight e2, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to get checkmate that way. There's always a need to be nice, come on. On Duolingo, and it sounds so terrible. Maybe this is what's gonna make it tolerable. Yeah, maybe I will I'll speak to Duolingo. I'll ask them if I can do a Duolingo course on how to speak hashtag. I can win any position by just intimidating my opponents with a 2860 rating. Must be nice. Must be nice. Okay, king f2, king h1, king f1, pawn h2. But the king can go back to... okay. The king can go back to h2 if it wants to. Ach, Noit is on point. Watching home is on point. This is what we want to hear. Foreign accent. What foreign accent? They don't have foreign accents, yeah? King f3 is perfect. Because as soon as I turn Russian accent on, then you're getting the moves correct, yes? So king f3 is correct. And the reason for that is king h1. What happens after that, I don't know. I play moves because visualization is bad on your part, yeah? Okay, so we have king h1 on the board. What's next? What's next? The next move is going to shock you. I'm joking. The next move is quite obvious here, I think. King f2, because after h2 we have mate. But we're going to assume that black knows what he's doing and he's going to play king h2. And now this move is very important, right? This move is so important. If we play knight g3 here, it's stalemate. We already have one stalemate in the chat. We don't need two. Triangulation again. But knights cannot triangulate. There's no triangulation with the knights. I don't know why you mean again. What do you... Stalemate is the objective of the game, no? And that's not what I learned growing up, unfortunately. Unless it is, in which case my whole life is a lie. I mean, we know that that is true, but on this channel, it is not. Knight g1 is met by king h1. You're on the right track that we're not really looking for... wait, I take that back. Not king f1 here, because just king h1. Excuse. So the move here, believe it or not, is actually... What's the move? Knight d4. Now I'm digging into my memory. I used to have my notes up, but I decided to not have any notes up because I need to revise this as well. King h1. You can guess with me as I go right now. Knight f5. And if h2, knight g3 mate. So king h2. Knight e3. King h1. Knight f1. h2. And knight e3. Ta-da! h2 is free still. What do you mean? Hey, smart guys. Stonksy. King moves. Yeah. No, I think that's right. I don't think there's any other way. You said free move, but after h2 there's always knight g3. So that's why, you know, in this position I was actually thinking about playing this move anyway, but stalemate, so we have to play this way. And the whole pattern that we're trying to look for here is this. Because once the king goes to this square, we have to cover this square. And when the pawn moves, then we just play this. So it's nice. And now we're getting to the real stuff, guys. The real stuff. We have about 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, to get this down. This is the first thing we're getting down. This is the second thing we're getting down. But I need to know whether you can do these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some kind of vote chess. I will play black pieces, you will play white pieces, and you will try to checkmate me, and I'm going to give you, I have the moves on the side as well, I'm going to give you about 20 moves. 25 max. Knights cannot triangulate. It's about timing. That wasn't even a triangle. That was some weird quadrilateral or something. I'm pretty sure it had more than four sides. Oh my goodness. But we have 50 moves. Nope. Not in my book. 30 moves max. I'll push it. I'll push it. King c4 is the first move. Heppel got it. Right? Okay, I'll play here. That's our final offer. 45. 30. You're a bad negotiator. I said 30 is my final offer. 25. 30 max. King c5. Perfect stuff. Perfect. King e7. Doesn't work like that. Goodness. That's it. I'm leaving. Okay. Lee chess gives me... This isn't Lee chess, this is co-chess. I'm trying to teach you efficiency here, screws. Bishop d5, I'll take bishop d5. King d7. King d7. Bishop e5, I take it. King e7. How is this vote chess when there are no poles? Because I take the move that I want to take. I'm the one. I'm the pole. I am the human! King c6, okay, I like it. King e8. King e8, this is too easy for you guys. I need to up the ante. When we add a knight, that is when the world comes to an end. And I can't have king up or king to the side or whatever. I need moves. I only look at moves, right? Bishop d6, I'll take. King d8. Let's go. I'll take that as well. Yeah, I'll take it. Bishop f7. Because here now we need to start getting the king to the side. So we're cutting off this square. King will move. What's next? See, now you just have to be careful over here. See, if you play bishop e7, king goes here and can escape. And if the king goes to b8 and we want to cover this square next, then the bishop ends up on c5, king goes back to c8, and we're back to square one. So here you want to keep your cool almost. Just because I'm short doesn't mean you need to rub it in. Bishop e7. Are we sticking to bishop e7? Fine. King here. Fair enough. King e7. King b8. King b6. Okay, king b6. King c8. We have opposite kind of bishop. Yeah, that screws. Bishop e6. Nice. King b8. Too easy. This is easy claps, right? Get the black king in the corner. Attack! Bishop d6, king a8. Where is that? Square one? I mean, there's so many squares on the board. All of them are square one. Offer a draw. No. This move? This is a great move, right? Okay, and mate on d5. Nice. Now we're getting to the amazing things. White to move. Let's go. Nice. Flip the table. We could have, but we won the game, so we didn't have to flip the table. King c4. Not the best move. So I will take in some... I can't see any of the suggested moves. I can't see the engine. I only have chat and myself. So together we will have to try and win this. You'll flip the table even if you win. It's a bit harsh, no? Okay. So the first thing to know is we need to push the king back. If we play a move like king c4, there's king e4, king e5. We don't want that. So where do we play? If we play knight f5, then there's still king here. We want the W method, we'll do that. But we need to push the king back first, right? "12 moves! I'm impressed. We've done it with 10 moves to spare. We'll save them for next time." You were counting? Goodness. Good job. Knight f3, I guess. Yeah, exactly. Knight f3 is actually the best move here. And we need to stop the king from going forward. So at this point, we'll just play king to e6. King to e6. And in your brain, what it should actually be highlighting is the squares that the king cannot move to, especially just on the last half of the board here. So these are the squares that are kind of cut out at this point. So the bishop and the knight are really working together here. King d4, yes. King f6. So again, we can highlight the squares. Bold of you to assume I have... Oh! I'm pretty sure you have a brain. King d5. King d5 we have on the board. That's amazing. King e7. We'll play king e7. Again, we're going to highlight the squares. Sorry if it annoys you. It's just better for visualization. It's better for visualization. We just have to push the king to the edge of the board, somewhere on the edge here, and then we'll push it to the correct side. So because we have a light squared bishop, we need the king to be in the corners, but this one's probably closest. Can't we highlight the squares the king blocks too? Sure. Sure. King e5. Yes. Not bad. I like king e5. King e5. King d7. King d7. It's over at my opponent until he resigns. I like that idea, actually. Just look at him and be like, it's over. It's over. Just, like, clearly it's over. Just, you know, it's over. What are you doing? It's over. Move bishop to, like, a2. It's over. Oh my gosh. Bishop d5. Now my concern is what happens here. Okay, bishop d5, king c7, and we can highlight again. Maybe we get the knight involved, right? We're just going to be pushing the king around the whole entire board, and I don't know how to feel about that. Committing to the strategy. I just did that. You know, in this position, I was actually thinking that maybe we can play something like this. Knight, king f6. Ah, okay. So king e5, king d7, bishop d5. Wait. Maybe we bring the knight in right now. Because the king is not escaping, right? Or maybe this doesn't matter, so we play bishop d5, which is what we played. The kings have to stick together. King c7, knight d4, bishop d5, bishop b3 with knight e5, knight d3, knight e5, knight d3. Then we're doing the whole quadrant thing. So bishop b3, king b6. We need the knight here somewhere. Okay. Alrighty. We need the knight on this square. What happens after this position? She wants to adopt us. I want to adopt all of you. Knight d4. King b6. Even though you had your eyes open, you learned nothing. King e5, knight d4, king e6. First, bishop b3. So you want to play bishop b3 in this position first. Okay, bishop b3, king b6. King d6, I like it. King a5, we're getting somewhere. Yeah, this is fine. King a5, king c, and now king a6. King c5, yeah. King a6. We're getting close. Now bring horsey. Well, you kind of want to stop the king from escaping, right? Bishop a4. But the knight needs to come in. Knight e5. King b7. Bishop d5. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. So, put the bishop here, but then the king goes here. And we're fine with that, because then the bishop goes to... Ah, okay. So, we're going to put the bishop here, king goes to c7. Then we put the bishop here. King has to retreat to this square. Then, we play this move. King goes here. Knight. King goes here. Bishop. King goes here. Bishop. So now we need to push it to the other side, right? So king goes here. And bishop. King. Knight. King. Knight. King. 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 Now what? Now maybe we play bishop here, but then king goes here, and we're fine with that. So bishop, king, knight, king, king, king. Now we need to figure it out. Figure out the mate in 3. Mate in 3. We've had 22 moves already. Should have given ourselves more, maybe. But Screws and I had an agreement, so 25 was kind of the negotiation point. So we have 3 more moves left, we're fine with that. Bishop f5, king b8. Yeah. Well, not c8, I hope. Knight a6, king a8. It's mate in 3. Wherever we deposited it. Simply a bishop move, okay. King b8. And then we have knight a6, king a8, and checkmate. So, I have a question for you guys. Is it easy to figure out? Is it as easy to figure out as the double bishop mate? It's probably easier, right? Here we go. There we go. Yet. Well, this was a lot of fun. I'm really happy that we got a chance to spend some time on minor piece endgames, and it's definitely helped me. I hope it's helped you. It's really nice to see you again, and yeah, let's hope that we keep the connection up. To be honest, it really was on my end this time, and it was my lack of technological prowesses. I'm gonna stop talking right now. Have a great evening, and also have a great week. I'll see you very soon. I will be live tomorrow, but we'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Bye.